Power in the golf swing. Well, that's an interesting topic. It's created by a relationship between the left arm and the club shaft, and it's the hidden move. Very often you'll find a player that will be seemingly swinging very smoothly, and yet the ball speed and the head speed and the ball is going a long way, and it seems almost that the two don't marry up. But there is a reason for it, and it is this relationship and how they work this angle in the downswing particularly. Now, when I was growing up, my coach always used to get me to work on a certain drill to help me improve my lag and ball speed. So I was one of those players that would get the club out in front of me too early. And as you would normally expect, we'd create a full angle here at the top of the backswing. He did the opposite for me. He said, no, I want you to point the club at the sky and then create the angle from there. So it was almost like a setting motion in the downswing that I had to create any power at all. If I didn't, I wouldn't produce any ball speed. So it was a real learning curve for me to understand that it's actually almost like it is a lag. It's a setting motion on the way down, and that produces, when everything else is getting very close to its position in the impact, the club has still got a long way to travel to get to the ball. And it needs a final release, and because it's so far back, that's where the ball speed comes from. Club face has got to come in very quickly from there. These are really useful for demonstrating because we can illustrate flex. To give you an idea of what bend profile is, you sometimes hear that mentioned, or kick point. It really just illustrates the maximum point where that shaft is bending. So I can literally change the bend profile of this stick by the pressure I'm using with my hands here. And that's what the manufacturers are working on. They're changing the bend profile of the shafts. And the reason for that is that they want that bend profile really to suit your swing and how you release it and how you work the club. So I'm going to show you really how the shaft works and how your wrist can affect that. When you get to the top of your backswing, we're looking for the shaft to be relatively neutral. Obviously there'll be a little bit of head weight here. And then on the way down, if the golf swing is correct, the shaft will start to load, or you will load the shaft. The club head's relatively heavy, very heavy at this stage, and you're starting to create a lot of force. So the shaft will work this way, and then as we're coming back into the ball, and effectively what happens in the golf swing is your arms and hands slow slightly, the head starts to catch up. And if it catches up in the right way, effectively the shaft will straighten and release at the correct point and be at the right loft for that club head. If I get to the top of the backswing and I cast early, there's almost no sound or very little sound. But here, if I load it correctly, I can then release that club shaft, and you can see that really this section isn't moving any quicker, that much faster, but what we are getting is we're getting the release of the hands and this angle to clear and return back into the square position, and that's what creates the speed. That's what creates that magic distance, even though the body looks like it's moving quite slowly.